nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Speaker Abbas Tajuddin leads the way in the campaign for women inclusion in governance.
This bill is in consideration for the uprising of various financial crimes.
And lawmakers called for stringent measures against banks engaged in unauthorized transactions. It's good to be with you again on another fresh package of House Tickets, shedding light on the role and activities of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. In preparation for the 2025 budget, the House has suspended plenary to allow committees go on oversight to ministries, departments and agencies under their purview. These will enable members monitor and discuss the implementation of the 2024 budget, review challenges and know the way forward. While the break lasts, House Tickets will continue to bring you details from such visits, as well as review activities of lawmakers that occurred shortly before the break. These include visits to the Speaker's office, committee works, amongst others. Do stay with us for details of this week's lineup. I will be back shortly. Thank you for staying tuned. Last week, before the suspension of plenary, lawmakers sat for 3 days deliberating various national matters and taking resolutions that are far-reaching. For a highlight of these and more, let's take our first report as compiled and presented from the studio.
Legislative proceedings for the week saw the House debating several bills at second reading. Among them, a bill for an act to amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 to make provision for the protection of victims of fraudulent withdrawals from accounts and for related matters. The bill was presented on the floor of the House on Tuesday, 29th October 2024 and sponsored by lawmaker Moses Oluwatoyin Fayinka.
There is an alarming rise of bank fraud or unauthorized withdrawal of deposit funds in Nigeria. In the banking industry, about 101,801 cases was reported in 2022 and 48,703 cases reported in 2023. Very more of it were never reported, making bank customers lose several billions of naira. This bill is in consideration to the uprising of various financial crimes within the country, with many of such passing through financial institutions, or we can call it commercial banking system.
We are all victims of this.
There was a robust debate on the bill.
This is a very important bill to Nigerians, particularly now that we have an online banking system dominating the financial institutions. Almost on daily basis, we used to neglect it or ignore it because it's a negligible amount. Even today, I can confirm to you in this chamber, some people saw an alert that they did not know exactly how it emanated.
We are all victims of this. And only extreme fines, as stated by Honorable Jaha, will put the commercial banks who make a lot of profit in line. The burden should not be on the Nigerian consumer, regardless of his status. It should be on the bank. I believe NDIC ensures deposits. So we have to legislate and amend the Bofia Act.
Most customers still have challenges in having their money back in this, and it's called a push payment scam. So this one could be included, not only unauthorized deduction, it should include a wrong payment to different voters.
We have been all victimized by this. I've been victimized a couple of times, like my fellow colleague just said here. Make a payment to people and then it's the wrong payment. You get to the bank trying to retrieve the money back. They will tell you clearly to go on doing investigation yourself, subjecting Nigerians to undue costs. You spend a little more than even what is being taken from you in trying to investigate and get the person back.
After the debates, the bill scaled second reading and was referred to the House Committee on Banking Regulations as well as that on banking and other auxiliary institutions for more legislative scrutiny.
I come under Order 6.
During plenary of Tuesday 29th October 2024, the Majority Leader of the House, Professor Julius Ihonvere, citing Order 6 of the House Standing Rules, rose on a matter of privilege, stating that the image of the House of Representatives was recently wrongly maligned by reports on the actions of a single honorable member, Representative Alexander Mascot Ikweche. He stated that it is unfair to state that it is the nature of lawmakers in general and the House of Representatives in particular to behave in such manner.
In this house, we come from different professional backgrounds, from different cultures, and many of us have invested so heavily in building a reputation before we came here. It is that reputation that we brought from the outside that has built the collective strength of the House of Representatives of what it is today. And we all have to be very careful where you go, who we talk to, how we talk to people, how we relate to people. And sometimes you stoop to conquer just to allow peace to reign, not just in your own personal interest, but the interests of the larger body.
The Majority Leader then moved a motion that the matter be referred to the House Committee on Ethics and Privilege.
My sincere apologies to the leadership.
On his part, Representative Alexander Mascot Ikweche, citing Order 8, Rule 6, rose to give a personal explanation and express regret over the incident and took responsibility on how it has affected all parties involved.
I am aware that my actions reflect not only on myself, but also the esteemed institution, the trust that the public places in us. This experience has served as a humbling reminder of the need for restraint and self-control, particularly in challenging situations.
We should always be guided and also know that we are not an authority over Nigerians. Nigerians have authority over us.
The Deputy Speaker, who presided over the session, stated that as a Parliament, it is always right for proper investigation to be carried out on such matters, one devoid of fear or favor.
At any point we feel that the integrity, the dignity of the Parliament, has been threatened, has been scratched, we investigate through our internal structure in the eyes of principles of natural justice, which is ode ora partem, which is let both parties be heard, which is fair hearing. That is what we put in our rules. It is not good for us to judge, ahead of time and take rash decision. Those in support that this goes to...
The motion was voted on, adopted and referred to the House Committees on Ethics and Privilege to report back to the House.
The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, not with utter dismay.
On matters of urgent public importance taken in the week, the House on Tuesday 29th October 2024 debated a motion titled The Brutal Killing of 7 Indigenes of Plateau State in Awka, Anambra State. It was sponsored by lawmaker Yusuf Adamu Gagdi.
This barbaric act in the southeastern part of the country is threatening our existence and free movement and right to live and liberty to live anywhere in the part of Nigeria as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This act is condemnable and unacceptable. Concern, Mr. Speaker, that if prompt security measures is not put in place to safeguard the lives of Nigerians living in other regions or any other part of the country, this may lead to reprisal attack and it will not be good for the nation.
The information, Mr. Speaker, at our disposal was that it was a cultist fight. And I was going to make an amendment to the prayers that the police need to do everything to ensure that we quell the activities of cultists in this country.
There was an information over the social media that the sponsors of kidnappers and Boko Haram has been identified. And up till now, no name has been mentioned. No one has been prosecuted. Are they spirits? Mr. Speaker, I think we've done a lot of talking. We should go into action.
The police has come to say that the incident that happened was cultist group fighting each other. So while we blame it on police, we blame it on army and all the rest of them, we should also speak to our children. In school, if you go to Punch newspaper 25th of October, you will see it well explained there. When we send children to school, it's for them to learn, not for them to learn how to harm each other. And then you blame it on government for insecurity. So the security agencies have a role to play indeed, but as parents, we also have a role to play in this fight for securing this country.
The motion was voted on and adopted as lawmakers called on the federal government to investigate the crime and that perpetrators are brought to justice and ensure the safety of Nigerians nationwide, while stressing the need for the assurance of safety of lives and property of Nigerians nationwide.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Numerous other motions captured in the order paper were entertained and adopted with the House reaching resolutions for implementation. One such motion, sponsored by Representative Sunday Nnamchi, was titled Call for Relocation of Independent National Electoral Commission Local Government Offices to Neutral Locations.
The House is aware that this is potentially hampering and compromising the independence of INEC in the conduct of elections. The House observes that this proximity exposes INEC to manipulations and control by interest groups, particularly in areas dominated by a single political party. Concerned that this impedes INEC impartiality as enshrined in Section 6 of the Electoral Act 2022. Cognizance of the need to maintain public trust and confidence in the electoral process.
The House, among other resolutions, adopted the prayer which urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to relocate its local government offices to secure neutral locations and make adequate provisions in the 2025 budget estimates to accommodate the project, and then mandated the Committee on Electoral Matters to liaise with INEC and other relevant stakeholders to ensure compliance and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Those against you say nay. That is have it.
Glad to know you're still tuned to House Ticket. Showing on the NTA Parliament every week, we have been reviewing bills and motions as well as other national issues that came up on the floor of the House through matters of urgent public importance. We'll continue along that line with more legislations from the Green Chamber for the week in review. Moving on to other reports, Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has stressed the need to empower women, noting that it is necessary strategic move for economic growth, adding that it is overwhelming that females are low in numbers at the National Assembly. The Speaker made this known in his keynote address at the International Legislative Dialogue on Women and the Constitution Amendment Process in Nigeria, which was organized by the House Committee on the Review of the Constitution on Monday, 28 October 2024 at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja.
I bring you the warmest greetings from the People's House, the House of Representatives.
While delivering his welcome address at the International Legislative Dialogue on Women and Constitution Amendment in Nigeria, organized by the House Committee on Constitution Review in collaboration with Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, with support from the European Union, and the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kalu, who is also the chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review, lamented the poor number of women taken as candidates in the last 2023 general elections.
This proposed legislation is designed to remedy the low representation of women by creating additional seats, specifically for female candidates in national and state legislature. The bill reflects a pragmatic approach by proposing a temporary measure, an approach that has worked effectively in other countries to fast-track women's representation in governance. These reserved seats are not a permanent fix, but are structured as a temporary special measure subject to review after 4 general election cycles.
Right Honorable Kalu also reiterated the commitment of the House to improving women's representation in governance as not just a goal, but an essential component of the democratic journey. He said ensuring these policies and constitutional reforms reflects dedication to a more inclusive and equitable Nigeria.
Today represents a meaningful step forward.
In his keynote address, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, while making reference to researches from global institutions, stated that organizations and countries benefit from better decision-making, stronger economic growth, and enhanced social well-being when women hold leadership roles.
Today represents a meaningful step forward in our collective commitment to inclusive governance and national progress. I also recognize and deeply appreciate the distinguished women leaders from across Nigeria, as well as esteemed representatives from national parliaments in Africa and international organizations whose presence enriches this gathering. Honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, we gather here not for rhetoric, but to establish a clear and actionable path towards meaningful reform.
While noting that some view increased women's representation as a threat to the status quo, Speaker Abbas noted that inclusion is not displacement, but rather a partnership. Also present at the event include wife of Kwara State Governor and chairperson Nigerian Governor Spouses Forum, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdulrazak, who represented the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, wife of the Speaker, Hajia Fatima Abbas Tajuddin, and Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, and Chairman Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria. They all made their presentations.
At the current 10th National Assembly, as only 4 women were voted into the Senate out of the 109 total members, while the House of Representatives has only 16 women out of a total of 360 members. This development, you will agree with me, gives credence to the propriety of today's gathering, as it affords us the opportunity to discuss prevalent challenges hindering legislative actions and enhance awareness on the importance of temporary special measures, such as legislated gender quotas, reserved seats, and political party quotas as gender-responsive approaches to enhancing political inclusion and participation of women in the country.
We gather here united in a mission that transcends boundaries and speaks to the very heart of our dear nation. A mission dedicated to empowerment of women and the progress of Nigeria. History has taught us a fundamental truth: no nation can rise higher than the place it gives to its women.
The fact of the matter is that gender equality remains among the strongest political agendas at the level of the European Union, and there is an overwhelming consensus of the enormous dividends that gender equality brings by activating the citizenry around social, financial, and political inclusion.
Women's participation in governance is not just about meeting gender quotas. It's about achieving real impact. When women govern, communities see improvement in healthcare access, family welfare policies, and educational outcomes.
So we're delighted that the National Assembly has taken this bill very seriously. We're delighted that it is one of the two out of the two key legacy bills that National Assembly is considering. There is the other bill regarding local governments as well. But this is a very, very special bill and very important bill. And it is important for us as a country, as Nigeria, to be able to catch up with the rest of the world in terms of where they have placed women.
In another development, the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, hosted a delegation of women in politics in his office on Tuesday, 29 October 2024, where he has reassured the Nigerian women of the 10th National Assembly's resolve to push through gender-related legislation aimed at granting them more participatory space in politics. He expressed sadness at the situation where women will have to resort to pleading for something that should ordinarily be a matter of right.
I feel sad that we are convening this meeting here. I feel sad that we are hearing pleas from our mothers about what is rightly theirs. I feel sad that we will be the ones that these very, very important dignitaries will be coming to beg for what is their right. If I knew that this is the purpose of these engagements, I would have told all the women here, please to go home, sleep and snore. Because the house is filled and delivered already. We are 100% for you, we'll be with you, and we'll deliver that mandate one way or the other. To get more women involved.
Speaking earlier, the leader of the women delegation, who is also the national women leader of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mrs. Amina Darasimi Ibrahim, expressed delight at the level of commitment and support the Speaker has shown in the cause of women in Nigeria.
We're not going to be sitting back in our offices. Politics is local. And so right through from our offices down to the polling units, we have strategies on how to get more women involved. So that by the time you come up with the gender policy through the constitution review, you will have gathered enough women ready to participate in the elections. I thank you for the few women we've seen from the Nigerian House of Assembly. We are hoping that through this exercise we'll have many more women. Spend some time.
Invited guests as well as civil society representatives commended Speaker Abbas for his steadfastness in championing the cause of women in Nigeria through the legislature.
Not the head.
This is where we end this episode of House Tickets. Hoping you've been educated on recent happenings in the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Until we meet again next time, keep watching us on any of our social media platforms on display. And remember, we expect your feedback through questions, comments and observations on the workings of the legislature. Thanks for your time and bye for now.